Hello, and welcome to the W.A.I.T channel. What Am I Thinking? A podcast where two sisters share uplifting conversations on fun and sometimes serious topics.
Join us each week by clicking the notification bell and subscribing to our channel. If you enjoy the show, use the share link. It's one of the best ways to expand the conversation.
Hello and welcome back to the W.A.I.T channel, What Am I Thinking? Today we're going to talk about Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. I know for myself when I heard about this new franchise coming to Bravo, I was excited. It's an all-black cast and I was really looking forward to it, especially coming off of the Summer House and when their season ended and the drama with it. I thought that the Martha's Vineyard would bring something new and the cast members. So I don't know about you, Tracy, but I was really looking forward to it.
Yeah, same. I was looking forward to it. How you kind of, at a scary movie, you put your hands over your eyes and you peek through.
Yeah.
So I kind of had a little bit of that going on because I knew there were some aspects of it that could easily go left. And so overall, I would say I wasn't horrified. I would say I was entertained for the most part, but there were some aspects of it that I could have done without.
You know, I agree, and I don't like starting something and then feeling like I can't stay on board and finish a series all the way to the end. But unfortunately, by the second episode, it was like you said, those kind of cringy things that I was seeing. And I knew, or I felt at least at that time, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to hang in with this one. And it was a situation with Bria, who seemed to be in the middle of most of the drama. It was one of those situations that caused me just to say, I don't think I'm going to hang in with this particular series. And I'm not even sure why I felt that I couldn't watch it and see some of the things play out. But did you watch it all the way through?
I missed some. I didn't watch it I can't say I watched every episode all the way through faithfully at the end. I did quite a bit of fast forwarding. I will say I did watch the finale. But when you talk about Bria, one of the things we need to not gloss over is that she, from her mouth, says that Milo is her emotional support animal. And so if this is a legitimate emotional support animal, then the way she showed up in the house at times is able to be explained, right? Because the blow up, since you didn't see the end, that she had between her boyfriend, who was at Simon, and Summer, who was really just trying to mediate, but you got to stay out of other folks' business.
Right.
She had some irrational behaviors that it did not fit the situation or circumstance, that she overreacted. But she hasn't, and if you're doing this with your emotional support animal around, then I would say take a breath for her. And the other part of it is I did see her on Watch What Happens Live, and I don't think she sees, now the episode that disturbed me the most had not aired yet when she was on, so I don't know what she would have acknowledged about the way she showed up in the house. Hence, did I love how Jasmine and Silas showed up as a couple? I think Jasmine was trying to be as real as she could and not try to totally blow up her marriage spot. Silas, you cannot blame the military or your cultural background solely on the way you are showing up in this relationship and in this house. You know, one of the things he said, Lori, was that Jasmine went on vacation mode and he stayed in routine mode. Well, the routine mode at home, maybe you're the provider and she says, I'm okay with cooking your meals, steaming your suits, doing all those things for him. But right, you're on vacation. Even though you were still working or whatever you had to do, let your wife be on vacation and take care of yourself a little bit. If those moments of him being needy and pressing her, it was almost as if he was like, this is what we agreed to. And the other key thing about them is they got together really during the pandemic.
Right. And I found that interesting when that information came from her friends and
Right.
how they basically were saying that he never really got to see the girl that they knew.
Right. And she never really got to see how was his expectations going to enmesh with her real day-to-day self, you know, because we were in a pandemic, we were on lockdown, and people weren't going out and doing things. So I think them watching themselves, I would hope. So I know Preston was on Watch What Happens Live most recently, and he said they are still together. But I'm sure they're having some conversations. Let's just say that.
So as host, how would you rate them as host? Because I'm telling you that voting in the very beginning, like every little thing, the voting, and I was so happy when, I can't remember which one said that it was kind of grade schoolish and that they were adults and they didn't have to be pulled together every time. You know, what do you...
So I don't think they could have won on that, because if they just made decisions, they would have been, we didn't have an input, you know. So what you would consider a minor thing, and we don't need to ask somebody, with the personalities in that house, all it takes is one person, Bria, to feel differently, and you have an uprising, you know. So I would say under the circumstances, they did the best they could, but the problem was they weren't really united host. In that, the way Jasmine probably could have let something go and let it roll off, Silas was a little more anal about stuff.
Right.
And
I agree.
I think that's where the problem came in. But let's talk about some other people. So Jordan was a big focus of the house, and I did not see the episode fully where she had the rant about making her the sexual object or something. She kind of let the guys know that's kind of how they were making her feel, as if she was something to be won over. And I said I was going to go back and maybe watch that, but I was glad that she gave voice to those feelings. I thought that was valid. I loved how the girls rallied around Shanice when the rumor mill through Alex was trying to attack her and call her crazy and a stalker. She's a free spirit, that she is, but I wouldn't, you know, and she said a couple things she did do, but it was out of context with the way it was presented on the internet. So as crazy as she is, I don't know, you had already checked out by the time she had her stripped down naked moment in the jacuzzi, which once again, I didn't see that full episode, but Bria went off and her focus was on Shanice when it should have been on her man.
Yeah.
It's like, that was a big issue for me as well. It looked like Alex and Summer were kind of as fail-safe as Amir and Jordan, because Amir got put in the friend zone. It looked like something could have happened between Alex and Summer. I don't know what their geography is or where they live. I want to say one is LA and one might be New York, but I'm not sure. But that was something interesting. The other thing that was interesting was, who's the one that's the dynamic dresser, the guy who was in everybody's DMs, and yet we find out he's in a year-long relationship.
What's that? That was Preston, right?
No, Preston, that was not Preston, was Silas' frat brother.
No. That was Nicholas.
Nick.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then the end, Alex surprises him with his girlfriend, who she was coming back from a trip from Africa, and surprises her. And she comes to their last little gathering, and Bria gets her ear and tries to tell her all about his inappropriateness and people's DMs and blah, blah, blah. And I loved how what she told Nicholas in private, she held him down in the moment. And I did like that. So I don't know if their relationship has true legs once she watches the season, but I was proud of her as a young woman to, hold her man down in that way. In the beginning, we had the blow up of the two getting kicked out of the house. The guy, which I can't even remember his name, he definitely should have got kicked out.
Absolutely.
The young lady, I wish they could have, I didn't fully see the moment. I saw some playbacks.
Now,
so
I did
watching it out of context.
Yeah, I did see that particular episode. Okay. And it is absolutely true. Even if it is a tap, you should never invade another person's space or touch them.
Yes.
Right.
What it is assault.
Right. And it was not an extremely forceful push, but when you're on the receiving end, you do get the opportunity to say how that felt to you, or whether physically or emotionally. And Bria did have a problem with it. I will also say that her personality and Bria's would not have mixed well anyway, because
they would not be friends outside the house.
No, she was very much a frank, in your face, this is how it is type of person. And when you have a house filled with personality, sometimes that's not the best fit for 2 weeks in the summer or however long they did the filming. So I hated to see her leave the way she did, because we later learned that it was Amir's fault, and that that Bria had not put the things in the washer or dryer or however she found things.
Disappointed that Amir did not step up, and I don't think it would have changed the outcome.
I don't know.
He had already done. Now, if he had done it before she had to confront Bria about it, then that would have been different. So he had but
I think it would have given at least context, and it would have given the two women the opportunity to squash it themselves, because they would have realized that it wasn't anything that was intentional. But we also know, I don't think she's a dog person.
Right, probably not. But one of the things that I will say is that what we kind of find out is that they don't have a long history doing these summers at Martha's Vineyard, even though in Jasmine's confessional, she wants to make it seem as if they did it so many times as a group.
I mean, honestly,
I'm okay with that.
Oh, but come on. I mean, like we weren't going to be able to figure that out.
Right. But it's like you're starting a tradition, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So just be transparent.
Just be real about it.
Yeah, so
now,
overall,
let me just interject one thing, because from the very beginning, this was episode 1 that I did have a problem with, and I don't know if Jasmine did this because she felt they were the married couple. She's bringing together these successful and upwardly mobile people of color. Let's see some matches here. But it was like in the beginning, I felt like, is this potential couples island? Is that what you're trying to do? And I felt, you're married. That's working for you. Work on that. Leave these other people just to enjoy their vacation.
And I think she did get that, but I understand her excitement of people who she thought would be good together and wanting them to have, well, they don't, I'm sure they would say they don't want what she has, but wanting them, it's a lot of pressure when you're the only couple. And so I think she just had some wishfulness and she was overzealous in it. But she did get it and she backed off.
Yes.
I think all those friendships will survive it. She wasn't really close with Bria anyway, so can't say what would happen with them. But overall, if there was a second season, I would tune in. There are some things I would want different or change, but overall, I would say it was a decent season. What would you say?
I agree. I think I would give them another go if they renew. And my understanding is that it has been renewed and that they're supposed to pick up filming in August. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding, is that they'll be filming in August. So when they show the next season, I will tune in. I'm not sure who's going to be there, if they're all coming back, or will it be another group of people. But it will be interesting to see after the first filming where everyone has landed, and like you say, those friendships. Because the funny thing about it is, you know, you can tell the fake friendships and the real friendships. Ultimately, they may start out in the house behaving like, yeah, we hang out all the time, but you keep watching the episodes and in the conversations, well, I don't really like her. You know, it comes out. And I wish that when you're filming shows like this, just be yourself. Don't try to make me, the viewer, believe that you're hanging out with each other most of the year, or that you send messages back and forth on a regular basis. Just be yourself. Don't try to be producers and create moments. For me, that's more authentic. And I don't have to do deep dives on the internet trying to find out the truth.
Yeah, I think they did a decent job of giving us history on the relationships. I wasn't upset with that. I mean, we got the little working at the Playboy Club, those girls, and then we got the ties through the sororities and fraternities. And you know, it would have been interesting if, which I can't think of her name, the friend of Jasmine's that got kicked out of the house, because their story of living in that car, the dynamic of that friendship, if any friendship was affected, I think that one was. Yeah. Because it hurt her, that Jasmine. But it's like Jasmine is one person in this house collective. So, you know, I hope she could have a forgiving heart towards Jasmine related to that, realizing she's one person, and that it could survive. But in some of the confessional stuff, I have a feeling that maybe their friendship didn't. So it'll be interesting to see. So go ahead and close it out, Lord.
Well, okay. So I think for me, I'm gonna if I have to give it a grade, I would give it a B-. I'm looking forward to seeing it come back and to see who comes back. And I will just say thank you, Bravo, for giving us good content this summer. And I'm just looking forward to see what is coming next. So thank you for listening to What Am I Thinking? And leave us your comments on how you feel about the show, whether or not you think it should be renewed. Are you going to be watching? We look forward to reading about what you're thinking. Thanks, and bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely ours and should be taken as such. Our thoughts are intended purely for entertainment purposes. Please do not take anything we say as fact or advice. Thank you for listening.